Shalom, berjumpa lagi dalam channel Pengkhotbah Desa. Kali ini kita akan melihat pembahasan dari samshamoun mengenai unitarian dan trinitarian, di mana ada seorang muslim yang bertanya kepada beliau dan beliau memberikan jawabannya. Mari kita simak bersama-sama videonya.
Now, you asked another question, if you want to repeat it, about Jesus saying, I and the Father are one. What was that question? Because I didn't answer that one.
There's Unitarian Christians and there's Trinitarian Christians, and also the Muslim side with the Unitarian Christians on this. The Unitarians say that when Jesus said, I and the Father are one, he's talking about I and the Father are one in meaning and purpose. But the Trinitarians will say, I and the Father are one like the Trinity way, like they are one.
Remember how I laughed? Can I laugh again?
Sangat jelas kelompok unitarian memberikan penjelasan tentang kesatuan Bapa dan Yesus secara salah. Mari kita lanjutkan pembahasan ini.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't know. It sounds funny what the Muslims and Unitarians say, but I'm still a little bit unsure about it.
Yeah, let me repeat for the Christians listening. The Muslims quote the Unitarians saying, when Jesus said, I and the Father one, it means one in purpose, not their one God. So this was my reaction. All right, now with that said, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
You want me to type in the verse?
Yeah, now, but before you do that, let's see who's interpreting correctly. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, go to John 10, 27 to 30. John 10, 27, 30.
John 10, 27
To 30. Yeah, let's read the context now.
Okay.
Okay, read 27 and 28. Just read those two verses to start with.
I remember I have to go verse by verse, so I'm going to
Yeah,
pause.
that's okay. So read 27 and then 28, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. Go ahead.
All right, my sheep listen to my voice. I know them and they follow me. I gave them eternal life, and they shall never perish. No one will snatch them out of my hand.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. Jesus says that he himself will give everlasting life, life that never ends, to all his sheep. They will never perish, can never be destroyed, because there's no one that will pluck them out of his hand. His hand is a metaphor, meaning his power and care. If you're in his hand, you're in his power and his care, and because he's almighty, no one can destroy you if you're in his hand, right?
Yes.
Does that sound like a mere human prophet, a human preacher?
No, that sounds someone with at least some divine attribute.
Ada yang menarik di sini dari Penanya. Dia mengakui bahwa Yesus memiliki atribut ilahi, di mana Yesus memiliki kuasa membawa manusia untuk masuk dalam kehidupan kekal.
Excellent. No human prophet, and you ask the Unitarian and the Muslim, can you show me where Muhammad or Moses spoke like this? Nobody speaks like this. Jesus, I give them everlasting life. No one can pluck them out of my hand. They're my sheep, they hear my voice. And then now, read 29, verse 29.
29, all right, I'm going to it. My Father, who has given them to me, is greater than all. No one can snatch them out of my Father's hand. And then John 10:30, I and the Father are one.
Okay, now let's look at the context. No one can pluck them out of my hand. No one can pluck them out of my Father's hand. In this sense, we are one. So in what way are they one?
And they're followers, they're followers, and no one can snatch them out of their hands.
So if no one can snatch them out of their hands, that means they're one in power, right?
They're one in power, and they both grant eternal life if you follow them.
Okay, so then why would a Unitarian tell me it means they're only...
Samshamoun di sini memberikan penjelasan secara konteks mengenai Bapa dan Yesus adalah satu, di mana kaum unitarian memiliki pengertian yang salah mengenai kesatuan dari Bapa dan Yesus. Di sini Samshamoun memberikan penjelasan, dan penanya si Muslim pun sangat setuju bahwa Yesus dan Bapa adalah satu di dalam kuasa, di dalam memberi kehidupan kekal.
One in purpose.
Because I guess they just took that one verse out of context and reinterpreted it.
Exactly. See, you see, God is blessing you because you're smart. You're seeing it. Now, let me give you further proof. Jesus is claiming to be God in the flesh, even though he's different from the Father. That's why we're Trinitarians, because the Father is not the Son. The Son's not the Father. They're distinct persons, but they're one in their power. Let me give you further proof. Are you ready for further proof?
Yes.
Okay, before we go on, remember what Jesus said. You just read it. My sheep hear my voice. So believers are his sheep. They hear his voice. They're in his hand, in his care, right?
And he grants them eternal life.
Eternal life, and no one can snatch out of his hand, right?
Yes.
Okay, go to Deuteronomy 32, verse 39. Deuteronomy in the Old Testament, 32, verse 39.
32, verse 39. All right. Just typing that in.
Yeah.
All right.
What does it say? What does the true God say there?
See, now that I myself am here, there is no God besides me.
Reread that one more time. It's not I'm here. See, now that I myself am he. Read it one because you said it.
Oh, am he. My bad.
Yeah, read it one more time.
See, now that myself am he, there is no God besides me. I put to death and bring to life. I have wounded and I will heal, and no one can deliver out of my hand.
Sure sounds like what Jesus said, right?
Yeah.
Did Jesus say no one can deliver, snatch out of my hand?
Yeah, Jesus just said that. For when Muslims claim that he's just a prophet, he says a lot of things that only God could say.
Untuk kedua kalinya, si penanya Muslim ini mengakui bahwa Bapa dan Yesus adalah satu di dalam kuasa, di mana Yesus akan menjaga setiap umat yang percaya kepadanya yang telah menjadi kawanan domba-dombanya, sebab ia adalah gembala yang baik. Di mana di sini juga Yesus berkata-kata seperti yang dikatakan oleh Allah di dalam Ulangan 32 ayat 39. Dan hal ini pun diakui oleh penanya Muslim. Mari kita lanjutkan bersama-sama.
Here's proof that I am the only God. I make alive and no one can deliver out of my hand. But Jesus says, I'm the one who gives everlasting life and no one can deliver out of my hand. Wow. Now let's go to Isaiah 43, the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 13.
Isaiah 33, verse 14.
43. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 13.
All right.
Hear what it says?
All right. The carpenter measures with a line.
No, you're not in Isaiah 43, verse 13. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 13.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I typed in 44.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. And from ancient days I am he. No one can deliver out of my hand. When I act, who can reverse it?
So again, God says no one can deliver out of my hand?
Yes.
And Jesus says no one can deliver out of my hand?
Yes. So I guess what Jesus meant by that is him and the Father are one in having the power, and no one can snatch them out of their hand.
Now, can a creature be one with the Father in power?
Yes.
A creature can? So a creature can be...
No, not a creature. No, I thought you were talking about Jesus.
No, can
only
a
Jesus
creature,
can be one with the Father in power.
A creature be one with God in power?
No, not a prophet or not a messenger, but only Jesus.
And yet Jesus says he is one with the Father in power because he's not a creature, right? Because that's why he's speaking like he's the God of the Old Testament, right?
Yes.
But don't forget the final line, where he said, they are my sheep, they hear my voice, they're in my hand, right?
Yeah, he says my. He doesn't say the Father's, he says
sheep,
my. And then he
my
goes on
voice.
to say I and the Father are one.
Yeah, but I want you to focus. My sheep hear my voice, they're in my hand, right?
Yes.
Untuk ketiga kalinya, penanya Muslim ini mengakui bahwa Yesus dan Bapa adalah satu, sebab Yesus sanggup berkata-kata seperti apa yang dikatakan oleh Allah, dan Yesus memiliki kuasa yang sama dengan Bapa itu sendiri. Inilah mengapa Yesus dan Bapa adalah satu. Mari kita lanjutkan kembali pembahasannya.
Go to Psalm 95. Psalm 95, verses 6 to 8. Psalm 95, verses 6 to 8.
All right.
Pay attention to what Jehovah says, or what is said about Jehovah.
All right. Come, let us bow down and worship. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. And it was in all caps, so it's referring to Yahweh.
Yep.
For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, the flock under his care. Today, if only you would hear his voice, do not harden your hearts
Before
as
you move
you
on,
did to
Meribah. Before you move on, pay attention. We are the people of his pasture, the flock under his care, and we are to hear his voice, huh?
Yeah, just like a shepherd in his flock of sheep.
But why is the psalmist saying, we are the sheep of Jehovah under his care, his hand, and we are to hear his voice? But Jesus says, they're my sheep, they hear my voice, they're in my hand, in my care.
Because him and the Father are one.
Okay, so then why would a Muslim say that Jesus is not claiming to be God here?
because they did the typical take a verse out of context.
Yeah, you got it.
Dari hal ini kita dapat melihat dan memberikan bukti bahwa Bapa dan Yesus adalah satu. Di dalam Yohanes 10 ayat 18 pun diberikan satu penjelasan yang luar biasa. Dikatakan di sana, tidak seorang pun mengambilnya daripadaku, melainkan aku memberikannya menurut kehendakku sendiri. Aku berkuasa memberikannya dan berkuasa mengambilnya kembali. Inilah tugas yang kuterima dari Bapakku. Dari ayat ini kita dapat mengerti bahwa Bapa dan Yesus adalah satu, dan kesatuan itu sangat nampak di dalam kuasanya, di mana Yesus memiliki kuasa untuk memberi dan mengambil, sebab segala sesuatu berdasarkan kehendaknya. Inilah kesatuan antara Bapa dan Yesus. Kiranya hal ini dapat menjadi berkat dan penolong setiap kehidupan kita untuk membawa iman kita bertumbuh di dalam Tuhan kita, Yesus Kristus. Tuhan memberkati kita semuanya. Shalom.